Battle Warrior Podcast is kicking back in gear. I am in Oshkosh. We are in the Venture Project studio, guys, and we're going to come at you with a lot of big-time guests. So stay tuned, guys. Battle Warriors out, y'all. New content coming soon. See ya. Deuces. All right, guys, welcome to the Battle Warrior Podcast. I am Chad. On the other end, we have Nwanneka Tesy, right?
Yes, Nwanneka Tesy. You're so close.
we're getting there. She's actually, you know what? We're switching episodes here, guys. I joined her podcast, a couple months ago? I would say 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I had a blast and I wanted to return, come back on mine. So, I know we share a lot of the same passions when it comes to certain things that we do outside of work. And the thing that I was going to bring up is the bodybuilding.
Okay.
So please explain, because I see a lot of stuff on Instagram and I know you're a lot more sophisticated at it than I am right now. So please explain to my listeners exactly where you're involved with your favorite hobby.
Well, that's a great question. I will have to start really quickly with being in high school. So I was one of those kids, my parents were super smart. So they raised kids that were nerdy, and which meant I almost graduated high school 3 years even more than most people. My parents thought it wasn't a good idea because at the time I was 12, heading into 12th grade, so 13, 12. So I ran out of courses to take, and I took the only class I could take, which was athletic training, where you bandage up the athletes and everything. And as I was doing that, I saw this girl and she just had muscles. And I'm like, man, that is awesome. And I was a nerd. So mind you, I didn't know anything about this world. And in college, someone mentioned that you have really good form for bodybuilding. And I just didn't pay attention. But 6 years ago, I decided, you know what? I come to the gym quite frequently. I was slowly learning about meal prepping and what food will do to certain parts of the body. And I said, yeah, let's do it. So I started coaching myself towards bodybuilding. I naturally compete. So I compete only naturally. I compete in natural shows, which means I don't have any performance medicine or supplements in me. And I have loved it. There are good days and there are bad days, but that's how it started on the nutshell.
Yeah, and you're very open on your Instagram and your accounts with your bodybuilding. And I'm sitting there going, I'm like, wow, she's way, way, way better than me at this.
I don't think there's a better or worse. I think there's a point you get where you are more vulnerable in sharing the truth about what you've gone through in terms of how you came to this point. And I say it so that I'm always honest and I don't live that life of showing one thing on Instagram and then doing something opposite. So I tell people I only show what's happening from day to day and nothing is fake.
Number one rule, guys, of social media, exactly what she just said. And I try to do it myself too. At the beginning, I wanted to be a little bit more clean on my language, and now I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna be myself on it, and try not to let a lot slip out. But there's gonna be some that slipped out on accident. So it's but no, like I said, we both share bodybuilding, and prior to coming on recording here, I was talking about running. You're like, I can only go a certain distance versus like, if I go do what you did, I would be the same way. So it's quite awesome being the opposite.
Oh, and see, this is why I admire fitness and sports, right? Because you get to choose the one you want and admire and respect. And it's all yours. Like I can do long distance running. I can't even do Zumba. It will surprise you how many times people are like, you're fit, let's do Zumba. And 2 minutes in, I am out for the count. But I could lift weights all evening long, but Zumba, nope. So you just got to train your mind and body for the sport that you're able to do.
Which is weird because for me, this is my first time running in 20. Okay, so I did sophomore year and junior year of high school. I ran.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, you took a
And
hiatus.
yeah, and broke my legs pretty much because I didn't know how to properly train. We'll just say it that way. And took all that time frame off and then picked it back up again this year. So what, 16 years old? Yeah, almost 20 years. And the thing about, and I know we can discuss like the terms like the pump or like getting your rush lifting and stuff, and running and lifting are pretty comparable when it comes to when your body kicks in and it hits that, like the runner's high. And I don't want to use the term as the high, but when your body just kind of absorbs it. Crazy, because you just calm right down. At least with running, you calm down and you just start thinking clearly and everything. And I know when I do lift, I haven't quite hit that yet now after running. In the winter I did. Is that your goal? Just kind of getting that little, like get going, and then all of a sudden get in the zone?
You know what? It depends on if it's close to competition or if in off season and I'm just jogging. So it all depends on the season. To be honest, when you're training, this is my goal for people: work out, hit it hard before your pre-workout ends. And the reason I say that is when you are loading muscle, right? You're lifting weight that's very unnatural for your body to lift, right? So if you're working with heavier muscles, this is my trick, is I make sure I hit it quick when my pre-workout is still in my system. Because the moment that thing kicks out of your system, like you no longer feel it, any weight you lift, you feel that pain. You're like, geez, this is hard. I can't. But then when you look at videos, like sometimes I'll look at videos where I'm lifting so many amounts of weight or so much weight. And when I'm off season and just jogging, I'm like, who is that person? I can't lift that, you know? But it's that adrenaline of, you know, a competition is happening and you need to like work certain muscles. That's my best advice. Lift heavy and fast during your pre-workout time slot, which is like an hour and 15 minutes. So I get it and I'm like, oh, okay, great, we made it. Because when that thing is out of your system and you're just working out,
Oh, just done.
And then you just want to die.
And I'm laughing because I do take pre-workout, so I know exactly. So, and I'm just, everyone's like, how is this one? I'm like, there's not enough like tingle in it, so we're gonna have to add a little bit more, a different one. So
Don't do the crazy thing I did. I watched some guys like just scoop it and swallow it. That's falsehood. I almost choked to death. Please drink water with it or mix it in liquid.
I'm not gonna say favorite brands or anything because I've been through a dozen and I do have a few of my favorites. But yeah, no, it's when that kicks in, right? Whew, and I'm gonna call it a fun ride. That's the best way to explain it, because the adrenaline, everything just hits at once and you feel, you feel amazing. And it's almost like you want to run into a wall. So I'm sure you feel the same way.
I don't want to run into any wall, but I will say sometimes it's just more of like, I know that whatever I'm doing is unreasonable, but I'm just going to keep doing it until my brain that thinks for us says, what are you doing? You know, but that's the joy of it, is you get to really learn about your body. And I always tell people, spend that time not idolizing it, because there are people who just, they do it for selfish reason and superficial. There'll always be that. But take time and really figure out what it is about your body, all the things that people told you weren't desirable become desirable because you can work it a certain way, you know? I always had broader shoulders and I would wear windbreakers throughout school, high school, middle school, college, because I didn't want people to make fun of me because I got bullied a lot for a lot of my features now. And I would hide those. And then when I got to bodybuilding, there were things that are great foundation to really get you to where you need to go. So, even now, if you see me with my work clothes, I wear long sleeves, and it's no longer because I'm nervous about it. It's because I'm very aware that some people are not used to women who bodybuild to just show up in the corporate world and just be like, hey, I need you guys to run these numbers. That would be all they'll stare at. And that would be all they'll text me about. So it's no longer hiding. It's more of like, okay, when I want to talk about it, I post it openly. But if it's not something I want people to know that I do, because I don't want that to be the only discussion, then I kind of wear long sleeves. So
I have a few good friends that lift weights, even family members that are females, and they can do circles around me with certain things when they're in the zone. And it's actually quite achievement, because I remember talking to one of them and she's cranking on something. I can't tell you what exercise it was or what position it was. And I'm just like, holy cow, she just got into beast mode and it's just going. And I'm like, wow. I had to stop. She's like, what? I'm like, that's amazing. It's just, everything was just right, but she was doing it because she she had not anxiety, anorexic, whatever it was. She had something in the past that she was counteracting and fighting against. So all hands to her, man. She's phenomenal in the gym, and she'll definitely do circles around me. And it's not like for me, I'm more of a petite built, and we're gonna get little and graphic here, but like petite built, but like my legs a little bit more thicker just because that's a family thing.
Okay.
So like for me, it may look I'm skinny up on top, but like once you start pushing the strength, my legs are insane.
Okay.
So for me, it's just a different way of, not say showing, but it's I approach it a little bit different because I am not lifting what I did in the winter, and we're getting back to it. But like I said, I'm choosing to run instead, so I'm more that runner's built.
And the funniest thing about, I would say guys in general, because I hang around a lot of them at the gym, like not friends, just because if I'm lifting weights, if they're like 100 of us, 90 of them are males. It's just natural. Okay. And sometimes they'll see my muscle and they'll see my build. The first thing I'll see an arrogant, selfish male do, this is not all of them, they'll come next to me and they'll instinctively want to lift 8 times more just to show me that they can lift heavier, right? Which is so funny, because then I'll pick up 10-pound dumbbells and that's all I'm working with the whole night. And it makes them look stupid, because sometimes people look at your build and they think, oh, I'm going to show them up by showing them how much I lift. And I tell people it's form over function, right? If you have great form and you already have that foundation, some nights I'm not even lifting more than 45 pounds. That's what people don't realize. They just look at my build, they're like, wow, you must be able to lift so many things. I'm like, I cannot carry my groceries, So it's like, how about that? But I always tell people, don't look at someone and just say, oh, I'm gonna best them to make myself feel better, because they always look stupid. Like, I'll just sit next to them. I'm not trying to show off I just take 10 pounds on each arm and I'm doing my dumbbell, and they just kind of look at me like, oh, I thought nope. And right off that bat, it makes them feel even more insecure, because now 2 things: the whole world knows you're insecure and you're trying to bet against a female. Secondly, I'm building my muscles with 10 pounds and you're lifting 80 pounds. So now you've told the whole world you're weaker, and it doesn't look good on anyone. So I have these conversations, especially with my male friends. The gym and competition, you gotta know your place. That's not what it's for. Everyone comes in with different reasons why they're there. And we already have so much fighting in the world. I go to the gym because it's a pleasurable place for me to understand what my body does with different weights and different muscles, and how to avoid injuries. And I secretly love seeing the older people, they're in their 60s and they're just doing pull-ups more than me. And I'm just like, oh man, I want to make sure that I'm still that active. Like, I don't even see the young people trying to show off for each other. I'm more interested in like, wow, this person was able to maintain a healthy lifting lifestyle all the way till 60 or 70. So you got to find out what it's in for you, you know?
Yeah, and I'm gonna go in depth on that one too because I go to the YMCA plus another gym here in the town I live just because I'm testing the other one out just to see how it is. When I'm in the town I work, there's a lot of, I don't say retirees, but like the older generation coming in, and my God, they're amazing.
Nice.
Just it's either with the ladies doing it or the guys doing it. They're just sitting there, they just do their own thing. They go in the corner, they don't really, they'll say hey, hello, make sure you're doing well, but they will, I think they're past the perception of the body. Like they just want to make sure they're feeling great.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. They sweat their tails off and they're there every day. Like the discipline, the consistency, just insane out of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, I tell people it's not for everyone, you know? And you definitely want to make sure there are two things I'll tell people that you want to make sure. You want to make sure you're in it for you, and there's a reason behind that. And you want to make sure it's something that you want to do effectively long term. So the first thing is you want to make sure it's for you because you're going to lose a lot of people, like not because of envy. If you don't have family that's down for that, like not even because you're doing anything. I mean, now they're watching you on stage and probably things that they're like, oh, this is beneath us, you know? And so you have to have that conversation. You have to make sure you're secure enough to have that conversation with a partner, or you just have to know that people are going to reach out to you for superficial reasons. And you can't let it get to you that a lot of the times, like in Texas, people invite me to places just to tell people, oh, I'm with Nwanneka and she's in bodybuilding, look at me. So it's like when you get to where you understand what it is, be in it for yourself, right? And secondly, make sure you choose the healthiest route to get there so that you're able to be sustainable in this field, right? You can go and train hard, do all the dirty tricks, cheat, take performance enhancements just so you can win first place. And those people, you never see them again, right? Because they've either injured themselves, they've gone into depression, they've taken medicine or like drugs that hindered their physical ability or harmed them. So I tell people, how long do you want to do something? If you want to do it for a long time, find the most healthy and reasonable way to get there.
Well, we're going to end it on this. Where can everyone reach you on, either to see the journeys or see you on social media?
I'm very active on Instagram with Fit Like Coffee because I like coffee and I do fitness. So FITLIKE and coffee. One word. It's on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook with Nwanneka Tesy. That one I rarely interact with people I don't know, so Instagram is gonna be your best bet. If you're looking for the podcast, Instagram is Living the Life Podcast on Instagram. But that's that.
Thank you thank you very much for joining this. We had some scheduling conflicts, but we got it done.
Yes, yes. And good luck to you on everything you do sports-wise. The other Chad that I know.
Thank you. It's busy times coming down the road here. So it's yes, I'm going to take some personal times here in the next 4 weeks. I'm going to take some time, go sit in the woods, and yes, I do deer hunt, but just to shut down, kind of clear my mind, because I know the next November, December are going to be a push, just trying to get all the business stuff related, plus holidays. So I want to take 3-4 days off, just to kind of clear my head and enjoy some Mother Nature. And to be 100% honest,
you should send me some swag now that I like to publicly hold people accountable online.
You know what you can do? I will let you throw me under the bus too, because I'm fine with that.
Yes.